Good afternoon, everybody. How are we doing? Just get on board with the clicker. Okay, so as Lou said, I've been involved in social media for the last 10 years. I've seen the impact that it's had on business in Australia. So I've been in a unique position to really see where it's come to at the moment. And I've got a few insights to share with you in terms of what's the new reality around social media. How do you actually use social media to create value? But before I do that, I'm just going to run through what we're going to talk about today. So a lot of the presentation is going to be focused around social location and the opportunity around that, just as a pretext. So the first part is going to be around the value of location in store and using those insights to really drill down and find out who your audience are, and then how you actually target them and attract your customer audience. And then finally, we're going to look at the really nitty-gritty. It's engaging, converting your audience. So the one message I've got to give you before we even start is there's no shortcuts to this. Everybody thinks, oh, I just want to make conversions, but it doesn't necessarily work like that. You've got to do the hard yards. You've got to set yourself up properly. You've got to attain the reach. You've got to get the engagement. And then once you've got the engagement, then you can look to convert, whether that's through really high quality content. So no further ado, we'll get stuck in. So some of the biggest challenges, as I've just mentioned, is really how do we actually convert all of those engagement, all those fans or followers. Just let's have a quick show of hands. Who's using social media as part of their business here? Okay. So I imagine one of the biggest things that you have trouble is what's the value? How do I show the value for my efforts? It's the golden egg around social media. What's the ROI? How do we actually create it? Am I wasting my time with this? Are there other marketing activities that actually provide a better return on investment? And shouldn't it be easier? Basically, at the end of the day, everybody's doing it now. It's mass media. So you have to be a little bit more targeted about your approach. You've got to think, who is my audience? What are they like? What are their habits? How is what I'm doing and what I'm offering any different to anything else? Anybody else that's doing it out there? There's a lot of people in this space, so you really have to be laser focused. And a lot of the presentation I'm going to run through today is all about how to be laser focused, how to be targeted, and how to make sure that the activities and the time that you spend during social media is worthwhile. So we're all part of the social mobile generation. I chose this because everybody knows it, it's very obvious, but social media and mobile phones go together and they've caused this perfect storm. And basically we're using them every day, we can't be without them. It's all part of the world that we're living in now. It's very immediate, it's very fast paced. How do we keep up with that? And using your phone, creating content and experiences that people want to be part of is a large part of how you convert your customers. So the new model, as I said, you've probably got Facebook pages, you've probably started on Instagram, you might have been putting together content programs, you might be trying a bit of Facebook advertising, but is it really working for you? And where do we go from here? So this new model which we put together is based off of a Unilever Facebook report, and they basically looked at this, all of their efforts across all of their brands for the last 10 years working on Facebook. So there's some good stuff in here. And the first thing that they really sort of found out was that content matters. So it's authentic content, genuine content that is made by your fans is really useful. We're living in the visual real-time world, and the news feed is our creative canvas. So the more creative we can be, the more likely we are to have success in our efforts around social media. And how do we use that content to drive conversions? And the other big part of it is creating a lifestyle around your brand. You've got a product, you want to sell it, but at the end of the day, that's not enough for your customers. They want experience. They want to feel good about buying your product, and they want to be part of it. And it's up to you guys to actually create those experiences, create that content, engage as part of your customer's lifestyle. So content is a huge part of the play. And then targeting accuracy. Basically, what Unilever found out is that the normal strategy is just doing 5 posts on Facebook every day of the week. Doesn't work anymore. You can do it, but what's that going to do to conversions? You've got some fans. So what? Well, at the end of the day, what you've got to do is you've really got to hone in on who your target audience is and create messages for each of those different target segments. And the good thing is with Facebook these days is you don't necessarily need to just post that on your page. You can just put ads which go directly to that audience, into someone's news feed without it being on your page. So that is in itself is really, really useful. And they're going to be personalised, they're going to be relevant, and they're going to be contextual. The right time, the right place. And that's a challenge for everybody that's trying to build a brand, try to get conversions. Where do I go? Who do I target? Am I targeting? I kind of know my audience, like, exercising. They go to events, they go to the gym, or they do yoga. But at the end of the day, who are they and where are they spending their time? And that's what we'll look at. And also reach. Reach is really important. Sometimes you just have to give your content a little kick with advertising just to get that reach and that exposure. So it's a combination of using organic and paid activities. And then finally, local impact matters. Google did a study which was called the Google Path to Purchase Mobile Purchase, and they found that 69% of people expect to do business in their locality when they're using their phone. So in the local area, and we're all creatures of habit at the end of the day. I mean, we move around, but within your local area is where you do probably most of your shopping, and most of us are still shopping in physical stores, whilst obviously online is growing in stature. So as part of this mobile social generation that we live in, people are using their day-to-day, and when they're doing posts, they're tagging. We hark back to about 3 or 4 years ago, and then there was a thing called Foursquare came along. Everybody was talking about the check-in. Now, Facebook still do the check-in now, but on every social media platform now, whether it's Instagram, you have a location. If it's on Twitter, you have a location. And then also you can add your location to your posts on Facebook. So there's all this locational data. Basically, that's acting as a real source of customer insights. It's saying what they're doing, where they're doing it, what time they're doing it, and that's giving you an insight to who they are as an audience. So part of the big thrust of today's presentation is really around the opportunity that brands have got to respond and interact to the visitors at this location and provide these more contextual, more engaging experiences that shapes the path to purchase. So the first part is the value of location and in-store. So as part of the last sort of 6 or 7 years, we've developed a tool called Mapcats, and there's a few out there now. Another one's Local Measure, there's GeoFeedia, and these tools, what they specialize in is they specialize in looking at what people are doing out of location. So it's literally as easy as you just put a pin on Google Maps and you create a location, and then you can look at everything that everybody's posting through these social platforms within those locations. And as a result of that, you get some interesting insights. So it's an opportunity for you to analyze what people are talking about in the locations. What are the trends? What are the products that are starting to gain real traction? What's not working as well? What are your competitors up to in that location? So if you've got a retail outlet, or you've got a number of retail outlets, you can literally, with these different tools, including Mapcats, you can just put a pin around your location. You might have a smaller area, which we call the engagement zone, immediately around your retail outlet, and a larger area, which is your catchment area, to look at these insights. And it's interesting because is anybody doing social media monitoring here? Has anybody done any sort of monitoring? Look what's been said about their brand at all? Yeah. Well, I mean, it's an essential part of it is to really to listen to what people are saying about it. But the thing is that at local level, a lot of people aren't using hashtags, or they're not using keywords. So you can pick up a whole load of conversation that nobody normally would absolutely find around what's going on there. Who are the people that matter in your location? You know, what's the culture of the location? And you use these insights to build up a targeted approach to your social media marketing. So this is the multi-locational view. So if you've got multiple outlets, you can build one of these zones around all these different areas and really discover what people are doing. And as you'll see in a lot of all the big shops like Whole Foods in America, they have a different strategy which is localized. So they'll have the general brand content, but they'll also have localized content that means featuring local people, you know, what's going on in the neighborhood. All of this stuff is really important in terms of, you know, how do you attract these people into your stores in an authentic and genuine way. So this is a little cross-section of the tool here of Mapcats, where you can actually use to monitor multiple locations, and you can see the keywords that are coming up, and you can see some of the photos that are coming up through that. And this is a case study which we did around 4 different Westfield shopping centres, just to get an idea. And what we actually found is, just in a 3-week period, that we looked at each of these different areas in terms of the amount of content that's been produced. There's a media value attached to that. And then there's a reach of something like 13.3 million people across all of those different stores. And that represents earned media. So if you're actually spending money and time to try and get into people's news feeds, or you're putting print ads, it's the same thing here, but this is all user-generated content, and it's out there, and it doesn't cost anything. So if you can engage with these people and use them on behalf of your brand, and they're posting relevant content, and you can contact them and speak to them in real time, then you're in a good situation. You're being smart. You know, you're speaking to people that probably are in your area, and they might be open and disposed to what you've got to sell. So these are all the key influencers that we found in these areas, and they've got, you know, hundreds of thousands of followers. And what you can actually do is engage with these people in real time, build up your own list of people that are in your location, that have got lots of followers who you can engage with and maybe use as part of your marketing. So I can't emphasize that enough. User-generated content and finding out who your local influencers are is a really important part of this approach. And it's got a value attached to it. And it's worthwhile spending the time and trouble to do it. And it's not just on a one-off basis. It's something which you should be looking at doing on a regular basis. So you get all the branded user-generated content, people in store, they're shopping, they're getting their hair done, or they're doing tastings, what have you, and all this stuff's out there. People are posting this every day, and that's part of their experiences in their daily lives. And it's this that you need to be focusing on as part of your sort of a brand approach through social media. So this is an example of Lauren Bath. We've just finished a successful campaign working at Sculpture by the Sea in Cottesloe, and we brought in Lauren Bath to do some pictures there. So she's got 500,000 followers, and she posted like 19 shots, and out of that she got something like nearly 56,000 likes for that, and that's seen by all of her 500,000 followers. And then those get posted to Tourism Australia's sites, and then Tourism Western Australia sites, and they get retweeted. We share them on our site, and it just builds and builds and builds in terms of awareness. So think if you get local influencers and you get a call to action, and there's a campaign that you're running around your product and service, and you could utilize this, it's very powerful. Obviously this is a very big example of an influencer that's very established, and for local influencers in your own sort of locality, they're going to be smaller, so you might use a series of smaller influencers for your campaign. So the real-time engagement side of things is invaluable. You're doing your day-to-day marketing stuff. You want to be engaging with these people. You want to be sort of building up a series of list of these people. You want to be really leveraging that as much as possible. You want to find out what they're talking about, and maybe you want to look at being a bit clever as well and thinking, well, where's my target audience spending their time? So you might think to look at different events. You might think to drop a pin around an event that's happening, whether it's a Wanderlust or the yoga festival, or wherever your target audience, and you can see what people are posting there, see how many followers they've got, see if they're worthwhile, and just engaging with them. Simple stuff like saying, can I repost your photo? And you put their username. Most people that are online are quite happy to have someone share their photo if they get a mention out of it. It's only really the bigger influencers where you're going to they're going to want to have some sort of monetary value attached to resharing or using something as part of a campaign. So it's well worth spending the time and trouble to do that. So what are they talking about? What's going on in my locale? It's really important stuff if you want to be successful in social media. So it's not enough to understand what's been said, but it's armed with this information. It's where it's been said, and armed with this information you can use it to reach target and engage more effectively with your audience. So that's the power of local social insights. So how do we go to the next stage now? We've got all this information. How do we actually target these people? So what you can do now with both through Facebook and Instagram is you can do highly targeted local adverts. So this is an ad I set up today. Just basically, I just dropped a pin on the Hordern Pavilion, and within 1 mile radius, just did a little ad. The last time I looked, I had something like 250 clicks and about 60 website visits. That ad costs me, I think, $6 so far, and that's just for like 24 hours. And out of that, I might get a few leads, and if I do, it's been worthwhile. But it's highly targeted, and it's easy to set up and do. So it's worth experimenting, doing stuff like this. So now what I'm going to show you is a whole range of different examples of how you can use some of these ads in combination with your other efforts to actually do that. So as I said before, you will look at different zones. You might have an awareness zone, which is the larger catchment area, and you might have your engagement zone. So that's part of your targeting strategy. So it can be localized. You can make it big or small. You can have as many as you want, utilizing some of these tools. So running in-store geo-targeted Instagram sales ads. So this is all around driving people in-store when you've got a sale on. So part of the whole sort of process of that is you've got to put some good content together. You've got to have some good engaging ads with strong calls to action. But you do that in a tactical way. You do that in your catchment area, which is your awareness zone, or you can do it more targeted in your engagement area. So you would post something in the lead up to a sale, basically telling everybody it's a teaser post. This is what we've got coming up, so target it to your local area. You can also obviously let all your social media followers know as part of that. But these are targeted ads that don't cost an awful lot of money, which you do prior to when you've got the sales on, and then when you've got the sales on, you do more ads. You make it easy for them. You do it on a Thursday night, it's late night shopping, we've got our sale on, pop down, pick up a bargain. You could do it at the weekend, so it's tactical at a particular time, when people are around, letting them know, just getting on their radar. You could target it just to your audience or just everybody in that catchment area. It's very easy. I encourage you just to go in, experiment, and you do this in conjunction with your content and your ongoing stuff. So it's not all the be-all on itself, but you've still got your email list, you've still got your other things, but try this as well and see how that works out for you. Including that call to action that highlights your products, and doing it in as creative way as possible, making it interesting is key. That's what it's all about. So you might want to target local events. As I said, you don't have to have a physical location to take advantage of social location sort of insights and marketing. So you can target people at your competitors if you want. You can see what people are doing at your competitors' venues, events, and you could use those adverts to actually draw people in. So there might be an event on here. As we said, you go into your ads manager, click the ad you want to set, and you load up your Instagram ad, and you complete a transaction. And it's all around pulling those people towards you, giving them a reason to actually visit you. And you've got a very targeted audience. They're at a yoga festival. They might be disposed to, healthy foods, and it's an easy win. And out of that, you can also see what people are posting about. You can see who the influencers are, and then you can think, right, this is the topics that people are talking about in my target audience. Maybe some of the other posts that I should be doing this week should be targeted around this particular area. So there's insights that you can have, not just at your location, your local area, but other events. And then you can set up your own brand events as well. You can set up tastings in store, so you can put a geo-targeted area around your own establishment, and you can invite one of your influencers to come down. You can give away a hamper, $250 hamper, and the call to action is come down for your chance to win a $250 hamper, get your photo taken with our local influencer. That photo goes out into social media, gets seen by all the social media's friends, and it starts the whole amplification process. Walk-in customers is the same sort of thing. So what I'll get onto now is the sort of the engagement side, creating promos, which is really important as part of that engagement process, really getting them engaged as part of that. So as I said, building brand affinity is about giving people what they want, creating an experience, something they can connect with, share with their friends, so they don't feel just like a customer, but more of a participant. So same principle again, running geo-targeted, but this time we're running a competition. So what we want them to do is we want them to take a photo with a particular hashtag for their chance to win a contest. But it's not just that, it's what we do with that content once we actually get it. So I'll run you through now an example really quickly, so I think we're running out of time. We did for Rebel Sport. So the whole idea of this particular campaign was to get people involved in the excitement of the World Cup. So what we did is told the story, we got the awareness out there through ads, we wanted to engage and excite them and give them a reason to express themselves through a competition. So what we came up with was a show your colours competition. We wanted them give them tap into their excitement and their passion around the World Cup by going in store and buying their team's colours and then basically posting a selfie of them online and basically what we did then was we published all of the photos across to a gallery on our Facebook page with the Mapcats tool, and then we got people to vote on which they thought was the best one. And this is when the fun started. Everybody was going on, sharing their photos with their friends, come and like for me, and each week of the World Cup we gave away a $1,000 gift card. And we did this every week. And it culminated in the final where we got somebody to do the same thing, and within 10 minutes of a goal being scored. And it just went through the roof. So basically what we had is we had a different gallery each week that we gave away that, and then we had finalists, and the organic reach and the comments and the social sharing went through the roof. And it's just easy stuff. This is all driven by fans of football and the brand. So if you can come up with an idea that engages your fans, that taps into your fans' lifestyle, that gets them excited, maybe it's around an event, then they're going to start to want to get engaged and be part of your brand, and basically the better the chance you can convert them. But the best thing is, when they won, they went onto Facebook, went on to Instagram and posted how excited they were about winning. And that drove more reach, more thing. But at the end of the day, the bottom line was we got 1,300 entries, we got large increase in engagement, but we had record levels of merchandise sales across the 200 retail outlets. And that was driven purely by the whole excitement and the passion of this contest. They didn't run it, they had some TV stuff, but it was completely separate to that. And a lot of it, from the feedback we got from the in-store managers, was down to this competition. And that was just through a really simple poster selfie in your team's colours. And it works. So another quick tactic you can do stuff inside. This is just a pair of angel wings. This is a trending thing on Instagram. If you go and put angel wings, just putting a mural up and just standing there and getting your photo taken. More branded content, mention your brand on there. Brand and tag and username, shared through their friends. It's easy, it's an easy win, simple, and you don't need much, you don't need much money to do this sort of thing. You can just let people know. Same thing again, you know, the Instaframe, very simple, user-generated content. Generate this content, get it out there, brand awareness for you, into people's news feeds, more likelihood that they're going to come in store if you can give them a reason to do that. It's all around giving people a reason to talk about you and engage with you. So this is the path to purchase that I've mapped out. This is the one slide, if you want to take a photo of, that maps out everything we've done here. So first off, you want to get your reach, regionally targeted Instagram ads, publish that user-generated content out, target your customers. You see the retail promotions through Instagram ads, increased awareness through brands advocacy, geo-targeted Instagram content at location, you know, engaging people, facilitating the considerations, and getting them in store with a contest, take up offers, promote those via Instagram through ads, promote the sales, you know, through your product, and in-store user content, you know, promotes the advocacy. So, and then you get the amplification and it goes back round again. So that's your social sort of location, customer path to purchase, coming up with interesting, engaging experiences and ideas, using your targeted reach, getting people to produce user-generated content and getting that out there, and then putting clear call to actions and reasons and offers as part of that. And this stuff works. It's simple, and you still use all your other stuff. I'm not saying that you should just use social media, but you use this as well and try it out. If you haven't done anything like this, I'm happy to have a chat with you afterwards, happy to talk you through any questions you've got. So it's an opportunity for you to respond, create more experiences down the path to purchase. Don't underestimate the power of user-generated content if you haven't. Create the right environment. So your challenge today is to be more creative. Combine this with technology and turn your target audience on social media into customers. And here's a little thing about Mapcats, and if you've got any questions, I'd love to hear from you. Thank you.